Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our annual Juneteenth Sunrise Ceremony. Happy Juneteenth. I guess I would like to share a little bit about how this came to be. The Sunrise Ceremony, which I've also called Prayers and Reflections in the Past. Back during the pandemic, I shared with the audience that each year around Black History Month and Juneteenth, I spend time just taking time to reflect upon our history as Black people in America. I pray and I also do a cleansing cry. And when I shared that story on social media through the platform, the Black Intellectualism Movement, I was asked at that time if I would share that with the online community. Good morning, Miss Beverly. Thank you for joining us. And I never really thought anybody else would be interested in it at the time that I shared that little bit of information. I just thought I was sharing a story, personal story. But I got tremendous feedback from people who were interested in. Good morning, Miss Anita. Good morning. Who were interested in also just being present. Good morning, Sade. Thank you for joining us, everybody who were just interested in sharing this moment with me of cultural reflection and prayer. So I brought it to the online community. The first experience was really amazing. And so I pledged to continue doing it. We did miss a year last year, but I am back this year. My mission was to host our first in person event, but as you guys know, I'm really thankful and blessed that God continues to open great doors for the work that I get to do. And so I was not able to do it in person, but brought it back to the online community. And you guys, sometimes you have no idea just how perfectly things are aligning for you. Good morning, Miss Lynetta. And sometimes the purpose behind the work is just so much bigger and greater than you, and things end up working out exactly how they should. I'm coming to you live from one of the most beautiful lakes in our state, right at sunrise, to host the sunrise ceremony. And so I'm really thankful to be here this morning. It was an amazing night of rest and reflection and preparation for a very beautiful Juneteenth day. And I'm very excited that you all are here with me. I just want to make a couple of requests. Number one, any thoughts and feelings that you have in honor of Juneteenth or your ancestors or family community, please feel free to share them in the comments. Number two, please hit the share button so that other people can tune in to this conversation as well. And number three, please enjoy the atmosphere that I hope is being set for you. Now, I've already started my morning with a beautiful sounding bath, which is one of my most exciting experiences since I've been indulging in them over the past few years. They are just so relaxing. They are so good for your emotional wellness, and they can help you wind down. So I will be sharing the link with you for this morning's African sun bath, and you can listen to that at your convenience. Okay. And I encourage you to replay that African sound bath as often as you need to. But I will be honest with you guys, the other sound bath that I'm being really fortunate to experience right now is the sound of this water hitting the shore as I'm sitting here with you. So very relaxing. The wind is blowing just right, and I don't know how well you guys can see that backdrop, but it is an absolutely beautiful morning. Absolutely beautiful. And so we are just going to take a moment first, engaging in thankfulness. Good morning, Miss Janice. Engaging in thankfulness. When we reflect upon Juneteenth, which is the day when The enslaved people in Galveston, Texas received official notice that they were freed. Remember, they were the last to get official notification via documentation that they had been freed. Um, that is the day that we celebrate. And this holiday was brought into full celebration via the state of the citizens of Texas. And over the years, even before it became a national holiday, there was widespread gaining of celebration around the significance of Juneteenth. Now, I do have to share that we know there's so many historical stories that are very true across the South, where so many people were still enslaved in our country, all the way until as late as the 60s. I've heard stories that go into the 70s. We've heard stories where from a technical and paper sense, yes, people have been notified of freedom, but as a part of other systems, people were still living under enslavement. So we acknowledge that. However, this day is also the day that we celebrate the freedom that they would soon find and pass on to their children and the next generation. So we still celebrate this day in honor of what that freedom means, right? And the official events that happened within Texas that signaled a huge movement across our country. Juneteenth is especially important to me because many of you all may know that my paternal family is from Texas, specifically Jasper, but we have family that is all across the state of Texas. And I spent a significant amount of my childhood there. And my grandmother, in particular, Lottie Silas, taught me about Juneteenth at a very early age. So I've been celebrating Juneteenth for most of my life. And even if it was just the two of us, she would always cook a meal and tell me about Juneteenth and the importance of it. And I'm just really, really thankful that she shared those stories and my cultural identity with me very early. So, one of the first questions that I want to pose to you would be, what are some of the memories that you have of your family's cultural celebrations? What are some of your earliest memories of your family teaching you about your heritage and your identity? And that doesn't have to just be limited to Juneteenth, it can be religious celebrations, it can be family celebrations, any type of cultural celebrations. What would be your earliest memory of family celebrations that both honored and celebrated your culture? Good morning, Miss Fabian, and happiest birthday. This is a wonderful day for you. Good morning, Miss Alberta. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're just reflecting upon that question. What would be some of the earliest moments of your family celebrating and teaching you about your cultural history and your identity? I really thank my family that they've always done such a great job at ingraining my history and culture into celebrations of my family. But I shared a moment ago about the beauty of Juneteenth and my grandmother teaching me those lessons very early. I'm very fortunate that my paternal grandmother, Lottie, is my only still remaining grandparent, and she can still share some of those beautiful stories with me, and in fact, talk about Juneteenth with me. And I will be calling her today to ensure that we spend at least a few moments reflecting upon the beauty of Juneteenth. So, as you're reflecting upon our families and how they have cultivated a sense of identity in us through celebration, I would also like to just lean into the thankfulness that I share for my cultural and community identity. The reason that that aspect is so important to us as Black people is because for so long we were definitely made to feel as if there was shame attached to us. A lot of negative things were attached to identity. We were taught that our skin wasn't beautiful, that Black wasn't attractive, that We were ingrained to believe that our people were at the bottom and of society and not at the top. And this wasn't just through the words that were shared upon us, but also through practices and laws that were put in place in our country that literally worked to make us feel less than, to beat us down emotionally. On the opposite side of that, I also think about the work again of my church, my community, and my family directly to help me understand that I came from a unique line of people who had traveled across oceans, who had lived despite disease, terror, and fear, who planted their feet on new grounds in a country that they did not even know, and found a way to survive 400 years of enslavement, suffering, and pain. And so, because of that, my mother in particular always instilled in me um, a sense of thankfulness that I am part of such an amazingly strong people who are resilient, who are courageous, and who know how to survive through the toughest of times. And so, those are the things that I lean into, especially when I reflect upon my culture and history as a Black woman in America. And I'm just always really thankful that God has blessed me to be this person who can share some of the richest stories of America from a firsthand and direct lineage experience. The food, the fashion, the historical connection to the motherland, which is the foundation of our world's history, even the beauty of the evolution we've experienced generation after generation, era after era. Um, it's all counted in joy that I am part of a people who are so profoundly unique, so talented, so gifted. And I give great thankfulness that God has allowed me to be a part of such a phenomenal community and lineage and heritage of people. Even my own gifts, speaking, being able to connect with people in a unique way, being able to love people in a capacity that really only comes from understanding people from a unique experience that is only ingrained into me by being part of a community of women who, for centuries, have taken care of other people, loved on other people, lifted other people in a very profound way. So the emotion moves through me very early this morning. And I entered the cleansing experience very early during this call this morning as I take time to reflect on just what a blessing it is to descend from such amazing people. Even in the era we live in now, where there are so many conversations and laws that are being put in place to attempt to erase our culture and our history, the strength that is within us can never be replaced. The stories that are within us can never be taken away, no matter how they attempt to remove the visibility of our people. I assure you that there are some things that just can never be taken away. And that is the beauty of who we are, the resilience we have been taught, the courage we have been given, the stories that belong to us. Those things can never be taken away. And so for me, Juneteenth certainly hits differently this year. Even more deeply do I feel a connection to the stories of our people, the community, those who stand in connection and alignment with us to preserve the culture of humanity, but in particular our people. I feel that even more deeply. And I also feel the joy even more deeply. The passion to keep doing the work that I'm really blessed to do more deeply. And an energy to connect with our communities, our elders, our leaders, our children, to share in love and harmony and growth and spirituality. We are here. We are survivors. We will survive. We have heard the stories of our eras of evolution in our country. We have heard the stories of our brothers and sisters who were put up on different boats, who were shipped all across the world. We have heard their stories. We know that our bloodline connects globally and that our people are resilient, not just here in the United States, but all across the globe. That resilience is our story. And it is empowering, not just to the Black community, but for men and women all across the globe. Our ancestor stories are empowering. Our ancestor stories are uplifting. Our ancestor stories are encouraging. So we cannot be dismayed. We cannot be fearful because we are here present in this moment for a reason. So for that, I am thankful for who I am, the lineage from which I descend, and from the way, for the way that God has allowed me to show up, to work and support and honor our community. And I hope that you feel that same joy, that same peace, that same love, and that same celebratory spirit on today. Uh, I hope you feel that. I'm going to give us 20 seconds. We're not finished, so please just stay with me this morning, okay? But I'm going to give us 20 minutes of silence just to lean into who we are. I think about for what ways am I thankful that God has placed me in this body, in this era today, to be who I am. 20 seconds. You can probably hear the water swaying. And allow that water to help you think and to feel relaxed and be at peace. Hmm. Excellent. 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 I hope that some of those emotions that I felt are also being transferred to you and you are feeling very uplifted and empowered this morning. Okay? So, at this time, I would like for us to move into honoring our ancestors and those who have come before us. Absolutely, that without them, in no way would there be any of us. Any of us. So often I hear so many conversations and the cliche term, we are not our ancestors. And I laugh and I say to myself, honey, we certainly are not. because I don't know how I would have survived some of the things that they went through. How would I have made it across the country being stripped away from my family, my children, experiencing so much trauma on a ship to an unknown land, just going through so many changes to get to a new land, to be forced to work, to be beaten brutally, near death, to want to give up, but choose instead to say, I will fight. I will fight for myself. I will fight for my children. I will fight. Not 5 years, not 10 years, not 20 years, but literally for generations of just endless fighting for freedom, fighting for hope, fighting to keep living, endless for centuries. This went on. So when I hear people say, we are not our ancestors, I say, well, certainly you were not. Honey, some days we don't even fight well just for a day or a few hours or through a work shift. So certainly we are not. For they are profound people, powerful and amazing, passing to us the best of themselves. And yes, they too have trauma that was passed along, but they did the best that they could to survive with what they had. And they gave all that they had to us. They gave all that they could to us. And I'm so amazed when I think about even people who are fortunate to say that their families acquired land and houses, and to think about the era where Jim Crow laws and even just declaring freedom and maintaining that freedom, like to on top of that own a home or land or to curate recipes or to become a business owner or to get an education. How amazing that is during such a time of continuous strife and turmoil in your daily personal life. But to get up each day and say, I will keep fighting. My children will experience something different from me. My descendants will know something different from me. They will look back and they will be thankful for the things I have done for them. How amazing. How amazing. And for me, it's my constant reminder that I cannot give up. I cannot give up no matter how tough it gets, how dark times are, what I experience, the disappointments in life, the hardships in life. I absolutely refuse to give up because I just see it from people who did more with less, who stayed the course even when they didn't know what the next day would bring, who faced many days of darkness, who had emotional trauma before it was designed, before it was defined, who were told that they could not speak up, they could not complain, they could not cry, that they had to be strong because being strong means you were likely to survive the most, or you were likely to be picked to maybe go to a better plantation, to maybe eventually find freedom. Maybe you will get your child back. Maybe you will see them again. Maybe you will be free one day. Maybe you will find another husband. Maybe you will. And babies were all they had to live on for so long, for so often, and they stayed. They stayed. And only because they stayed are we here. Only because they stayed are we here. Only because they stayed are we here. So, during this time, I am going to read a poem to you today. I will read a poem that I wrote in honor of my grandmother, Dorothy Mays, who is now passed. I have other pieces, but because I also will be participating in a reading today, I do want to share a different piece from the one I'll be sharing with those audience, or some of the ones I will share with that audience as well. And this poem for me is one of my greatest reflective pieces called Grandmother's Story, where I get to honor my grandmother, Dorothy Mays, with whom I had a very close relationship, who shared with me that as the oldest of 14 girls, she had to quit school in the eighth grade because she went to work out in the fields to help her family, who was the matriarch of my family and one of my greatest inspirations to dream big. And she was so inspiring and encouraging and very, very proud of everything I achieved, everything. And all she ever sold it to me was hope and encouragement to keep going, to keep doing. I think my fondest memory, my grandmother did a lot of things for me, a lot of things sold into me very heavily, made sure I never went without. She lived right around the corner from me. Like all of my life, my grandmother was within walking distance of me. So I was so blessed to have her so close. But I think that my most memorable moment with her was the day that she held Lee 3 in her hands. And her heart was so overjoyed to see him. And I saw the tears in her eyes. And she told me that she was just so proud of me, but she was so happy that I had a baby. And she loved him. She loved him. And just the joy that I felt with her. I'm okay. There's a cat here at the harbor, and she has been absolutely beautiful. So as I have gotten emotional, she has circled my legs multiple times. She has rubbed up against me. So now she is jumping up to check on me. I know a lot of people don't like cats, but I do. They are very spiritual animals that definitely detect our emotions. So thank you very much. I am okay. I am okay. As I am sharing the story, the poem of my grandmother, which is called Grandmother's Story, I ask that you also share the names of your ancestors that you would like to honor during this ceremony. So, could you share the names of your ancestors that you too would like to honor during this ceremony? Okay, I'm going to try to move her so that she won't knock us down. I will share the name of my grandparents: Elton Mays Jr., who is my uncle that has passed. Excuse me, my grandfather that has passed. Elton Mays III is my uncle who passed. Elton Mays Jr. is my grandfather. Elton Mays Sr. being my great grandfather. Mamie Mays being my great grandmother. Eddie Johnson being the name of my maternal grandfather, great grandfather. Julia Johnson being my maternal great grandmother. Dorothy Mays being my grandmother. My paternal grandmother still lives and is with her, and I'm very thankful. So I will not honor her name today as past part of my ancestors who have passed, but instead I salute her for all she has done, and I thank her for being a valuable part of my life. At this time, you may also share the ancestors who have passed, but you can also share those valuable family members who may still be with us that you would like to honor. Grandmother's story. My grandmother told me she quit school in the eighth grade. The cotton needed picking and the kids needed feeding, and in those days, that's just the way things was. She chuckled a little and then asked me if I could teach her to read. I reckon I can read, but I just don't really understand much, she told me. And a tear rolled down my cheek. For the many ancestors like my grandmother, whose heads hold more stories than their hands can write, whose fingers curve around pens to write words they can barely pronounce. Oh, grandmother, so often have I taken advantage of the way 3 and 4 syllable words roll off my tongue with ease. All the times I opted for fewer words with more pictures because my voice, my vocabulary was large, but my patience was short. How many times have I abused the beauty of language, using it to harm, belittle, or destroy others with the same words you could barely read? How selfish of me to boast of the things I knew with no regard for the things you didn't. And you worked in the fields for me, so my hands would never know the pricks of cotton bristles. I would never know the weariness of long days and short nights, or a fifth season called harvesting. And there's no need to teach when you are the teacher, grandmother. So I shall read until my throat dries up, and cotton fills my cheeks the way it used to fill the cotton sack you dragged between your fingers. I will read until my voice cracks more than your knuckles after a long day of cooking for 11 kids, your husband, and the white family who barely paid enough to feed yourself. I will read so loudly that my ancestors will know my freedom is ringing. For every book my ancestors were denied, I will read for you, grandmother. And then I will tell your story. I will write until arthritis cripples my fingers the way it made yours lock up from scrubbing floors and hand washing clothes. I will write until I have given every last ounce of energy, like you did so many days and nights for me. I know times have changed, but history is still the same. And ain't it funny, grandmother, that you can barely read, but you tell our stories so well? That is my poetic tribute for Juneteenth today. And I salute my grandparents who have gone before me. I would also like to salute my aunt Linda Barlow and my cousin Aisha White, both which passed within the past 30 days. The legacies they leave behind for their children and families, and the love that they shared with me on my life journey. And at this time, we will close our sunrise ceremony with prayer that is reflective, honoring, and also encourages us as we go forward. I thank you all so much for being here today. This is a reminder to please share this video with those in your network, that they too may reflect upon the importance and beauty of Juneteenth, that they may embrace this day, this month, this year with optimism, hope, and thankfulness for all that has been done for us, the courage that we possess as a result, and all of the things we have been able to achieve so far. And may we remember that there are greater days before us than there are behind us, and we have been equipped to survive and handle any challenge that we may face, for we are descendants of amazing people. And may we share that love with others, with those who are in need, with a heart that is gentle, with a heart that is not hardened, and with a heart that is not angry. For who we are today, who we are to this country, to our communities, and to this world, that is a gift. a gift that is far greater than us. May we also ensure that our spirits are nourished, that we are fed with what we need to sustain, to grow, and to experience the joy, happiness, and peace that we deserve, because we are deserving of that. I will now close my eyes and bow my head. You may do the same, or you just may tune in. Dear Lord, we thank you so much for giving us this beautiful, beautiful sunlight today, Lord. That after the rain over the past few days, today we are experiencing the beauty of your radiance on Juneteenth. We thank you, Lord, for our ancestors, for all the things that they sacrificed and gave up for us, for the journey that they paid for us to be here today. We thank you for your graciousness and your mercy. We thank you for the provision. And we recognize, Lord, that though this journey has been filled with many challenges and much pain, we recognize that we have also experienced great joy and blessings. And that, Lord, you are the giver of all things good. And that even when man has been in opposition to who you are, you have sustained us. You have blessed us. And we are thankful to be men and women born of African descent, blessed with a story like no other, and given many gifts and talents that have been fortunate to bless the lives of so many. And as we continue to go forward, we ask that you bless the lives of everyone this video touches with fruitfulness, with sustainability, with opportunities like they never imagined, Lord. For we know that we are deserving of greater things. And may today be filled with celebration, a joyful heart of all the things we have overcome and all the things we have achieved and the very moment where we are existing. May we love on our children, love on our families, and be encouraging and loving to our friends. We thank you, Lord, for we know the best is yet to come. We celebrate and honor Juneteenth and all that is a beautiful part of it with happiness, peace, and thankfulness. Amen. Thank you all so much for being a part of this day. I will be sharing the link to the sound bath that you can partake in throughout the day or as often as you like. I pray that you have a beautiful day and enjoy your day off for those of you who are off. Cook up some good food, kick back and relax. Do whatever your heart needs, but have an absolutely beautiful day. I thank you all so much for being with me, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Goodbye, and happy Juneteenth.